Tonight we're looking at the 11th day of Advent, so let's open up our Advent calendar and look for the number 11. I know it's here somewhere. Where could it be? Oh, there it is, thank goodness. Let's see what we have to read tonight. We are going to be reading The Perfect Christmas Gift, Pinocchio. Christmas was just a few days away, and Geppetto, the old woodcarver, was busy in his workshop, making toy soldiers and pretty dolls for the girls and boys in the village. There seemed to be more toys than usual to carve and paint this year. I hope I get all the toy soldiers made in time, he thought, working as quickly as he could. Geppetto's son, Pinocchio, wanted to help his father. He knew that Geppetto worked harder during the Christmas season than any other time of the year. While Geppetto worked day and night with his carving knife and paintbrushes, Pinocchio had other ideas. He couldn't make toys, but he could make their home ready for Christmas. He asked his friend Jiminy Cricket to help him decorate his house. They put up a tree and strung popcorn on its branches. They even hung prickly garlands of holly, all to surprise his dad. This would be Pinocchio's first Christmas as a real boy, so he wanted to be special. Jiminy, Pinocchio said, I want to find the perfect gift for Geppetto. He should have something special. Will you help me? Jiminy said, well, if you ask me, maybe he would like a new knife to carve with, Pinocchio suggested, though he worried he might not have enough money for that. What about some warm gloves? He could use them when he goes out on cold nights to deliver his toys. You know, Pinocchio, I wonder if there would be a better gift would be, Jiminy began. Socks, Pinocchio cried. Or a new hat. Come on, Jiminy, let's go to the shops and see what we can find. Pinocchio hurried out the door. Jiminy had to run to keep up. In the shops, Pinocchio looked at socks, hats, gloves, scarves, and even a warm woolen coat. Everything was too small, too expensive, or too ordinary. Pinocchio wanted to find something special. By Christmas Eve, Pinocchio still hadn't found the perfect gift for Geppetto. He couldn't help feeling sad. But what am I going to do, Pinocchio asked Jiminy. Well, I do have this idea, the cricket said. Really, Pinocchio asked. Please tell me. Jiminy sat him at the table and handed him a quill pen. You want to give me your father something that he really needs? I sure do, Pinocchio beamed. Write this. Dear Geppetto, my gift to you is an extra pair of hands and an extra willing heart. Love, Pinocchio. When Pinocchio finished writing, he looked up at Jiminy. Now what? Now you put the note in here. Jiminy held out a box. Pinocchio dropped in the note. Then Jiminy wrapped the package up with bright paper in a big bow. Geppetto will be very happy with this gift, Jiminy said. But it's just a scrap of paper, Pinocchio said. What sort of a gift is that? Jiminy smiled. You might be surprised. After Christmas Eve dinner together, Pinocchio presented Geppetto with his gift. I hope you like it, said Pinocchio. Geppetto untied the bow and tore the wrapping paper away. Oh, why, this is the perfect present, he cried. I could use an extra pair of hands in my workshop. How did you know, Pinocchio? Pinocchio smiled. Jiminy had been right. He was surprised at how much the joy his simple gift brought to his father. I am glad to help, Pinocchio said. I can start right now if you want. Pinocchio went to Geppetto's workshop. He swept up the wood shavings and boxed and wrapped the new toys. He made labels for each box that Geppetto would know which child got each gift. The two of them were the perfect team. When Geppetto set out to deliver the last of the gifts, Pinocchio went up to bed. He was tired after helping his father all night. As he drifted off to sleep, he promised himself that he would help out more often. That night, the Blue Fairy appeared. "Because you have been so thoughtful this year, I have come to grant you one very special Christmas wish," she said. Pinocchio thought about the many wishes he could ask for, but he still wanted one thing. "I want to give Geppetto the perfect Christmas gift," he told the Blue Fairy. "Something he will love forever." The Blue Fairy smiled. She knew exactly what the perfect gift would be. "You are a very kind and loving boy, Pinocchio," she said. "I'm sure Geppetto will treasure this gift for years to come." When Pinocchio heard his father moving about, he and Jiminy ran downstairs as fast as they could. "Merry Christmas!" they cried. Geppetto sat in his favorite chair holding the puppet. "My gift! How did you make it?" Pinocchio stared at the copy of the puppet. He had been just like the one that he was once. He smiled. The Blue Fairy had chosen the perfect present for his father. "Puppet Pinocchio was my favorite creation," Geppetto said. "Oh, how I've missed him." Pinocchio felt a frown appear on his face. "You have?" he asked. "Have I disappointed you?" Geppetto laughed. "Not at all, son. You've been perfect in every way. This toy reminds me of how very special I wanted a real son. He reminds me of how happy I am to have you." Pinocchio smiled a smile of relief. He went over closely to look at the puppet. It was like looking into a mirror. The puppet had the same dark hair, and the blue eyes that he had. Geppetto started dancing with the puppet and singing. Geppetto looked at his son and said, "No one has ever thought to give me a toy of my own to play with before. You understand how much I love toys, Pinocchio. Thank you." Pinocchio went over and danced beside the puppet and looked so much like him. Geppetto held out the strings for Pinocchio so he could try to make the puppet dance for himself. It was difficult because the puppet was the same size as Pinocchio, and he didn't care. He was happy to share this moment with his father. A little later, Pinocchio opened the gifts that Geppetto had placed under the tree for him, but the best present that he had received had come from the Blue Fairy. He would never forget the smile that lit up his father's face. He hoped that they would share many more happy Christmases together. It's very special to get someone with just the right present that means so much to them.